Well, we're recording on Memorial Day weekend.
Yes.
Actually, the actual Memorial Day, actually.
Yeah, on the Memorial Day, which usually, to me, obviously, thinking about
Summer?
the
unofficial kickoff to summer.
Unofficial kickoff to summer. We're thinking about the troops, how much we appreciate all that they do for us.
Well, and specifically Memorial Day is about
Right.
Yes.
I know, but I like.
But yes, overall, of
I know
course.
that's about the past. I like to think about both.
Of course.
And I saw that actually in a lot of different tweets as I was flipping through, and I like that sentiment.
Yeah.
That it was
Yeah,
kind of appreciating what has been done in the past and what is being done currently and in the future.
Right, because I think Veterans Day is every.
Yeah.
And then this is more about those who have paid the ultimate price. But yeah, it's still good no matter what, and especially hits a little closer to home with us for various reasons.
Yeah,
but
for various reasons.
But yeah, it's always good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always
Think
good.
about
But yeah,
them.
so this always then turns into a barbecue weekend, turns into that kind of thing. And when I think of summer beers, when I think of barbecue beers, I usually think a little bit on the lighter side because I figure we're going to be outside, you're grilling, you're having a good time. I still want flavor, which is something
Yes.
that we will really still hit home. I still want good flavor, but I don't need an Imperial Russian Stout.
Although I did have Stones a couple of weeks ago.
How was it?
But it was at night. It was cooler. It was good.
Now, was this the
2013.
Was it the odd beer release, the espresso one, or was it the?
Not that I remember.
Okay.
Would it have said it on the front?
Yeah, it would.
Because
It would say it says odd year release, which we talked about in the Oaked podcast from a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I don't remember reading that.
And then on the top, I think even somewhere in the bottle, really big, it says made with espresso beans.
I bet it probably would have been more expensive too, right? Because
I don't think so.
No? Okay.
But it could be.
But I'd like to get my hands on that. That sounds delicious.
Yeah, we need to get one of those in because I talked about we do need to try that one. But back to at hand,
Right.
We're talking about summer beers, a little lighter over the next 2, 3, 4 weeks. We've got quite a batch of these. I've even decided to change the background.
Feels
Right.
good.
Yeah, I kind of went right now. The only one I've kind of gone with here is a beach theme. I know it's not quite barbecue, but it also just put me in the right, just kind of pleasant frame of mind.
You
of
can
being
barbecue at the
outside,
beach.
Relax. You can. You could have bonfire. You could do one. What's the thing they do, which is going to play into this beer right here? Jersey Shore kind of thing. You do like a clam bake, or you do the thing where you actually put all the seafood like in a. Dig a hole and then you like put. Have you seen this?
Well,
It's like
I know
where they
like
dig and then they put it all in there and they put fire and they cover it up for like 8 hours and then you break it out and it's got the corn on the cob and
that's more of a southern thing, I think. Though you mean like the crawfish boil?
Well, but I'm thinking that's more of a pot. I'm picturing the beach. Do they do that at the beach? Because I'm picturing where they actually bury something at the beach.
No, that I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Could be.
Listeners,
Tell us.
Let me know
Talk
exactly
to
what
us.
that's called. But I do have the vision in mind, and with that in mind, we are going to travel to historic New Jersey and enjoy a beer from that neck of the woods for this Give It a Shot. I'm Andrew.
And I'm Keith, and we are AboutBeverages.com. And the beverage we are about today is the Farmhouse Seasonal Ale from Flying Fish out of Summerdale, New Jersey.
New Jersey.
New Jersey, that's right.
New Jersey.
We've had Flying Fish beer before.
We have. We've had the Exit 4, which was good.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get the podcast on it, but I've had their Wild Rice IPA. I brought it over a party that we had. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
The one that was really delicious, and I can't remember what exit it was. They do these Exit series where it's like what kind of traffic of goods that are imported and exported on that exit in New Jersey is what they try and use for that beer. And they did one where it was a chocolate beer, and it was a chocolate stout or something like that, and then that was really good. I think it was Exit 9, I believe. I could be wrong. If I am, I've corrected myself right there.
As you always do.
Yeah, I tried to.
Opportunity.
I'm my own fact checker apparently as we do these podcasts. But so Farmhouse Summer Ale. So Farmhouse usually could be a little funk, maybe. When I think
could
of that,
be.
that's what I
yeah,
mean. Does it have to be?
I don't think it has to be, but it certainly is something that I think of as well. I actually bought this a couple of weeks ago, and I was just looking for something a little on the lighter side, but still with some flavor. Too, right now, for some reason, I'm looking for things that have a lower alcohol. At least, that's something that I'm noticing. And this actually is only 4.6.
Oh.
So it qualifies as a session.
Nice. Session's always good.
A session beer. So.
And that's also kind of what I look for, too, when we're talking about barbecue beers, as I may keep referring to them as, that type of thing, because I'm probably going to have several of them. You're outside, you're hanging out.
Or at least maybe you don't have several of these, but it's the first of many others.
True. Yeah, of many others. So if they're all in that sessionable category, then because you can't start out completely big, or your palate's
especially when it's 100 degrees outside.
Exactly,
and you're near the grill.
Yeah, when you're talking Southern Arizona, it does definitely get pretty hot. Price on this one? You said about $8. For the six
Yeah,
pack?
it was $8, and then the next week Total Wine put it on sale for $7. But,
Okay.
but I had my coupon, so I did get it for $7. But yeah, it was $7.99 for the 6-pack.
Okay, so $8 for the 6-pack. It's not
Yep.
bad, and we already talked about everything else. So
Yeah.
it's time now for the kind of cloudy Chardonnay, little light haze to that,
And as
or maybe
you
maybe even more. I should say light, like a Pinot Gris kind of thing, little green yellow kind of color to it.
Well, it's funny though, because I don't know if it's temperature wise or the travel, because I brought this over, and like I said, I bought this a couple weeks ago, so I have had this. You have not.
Full disclosure.
Full disclosure. The others that I've poured have been clear, right out of the bottle.
That's interesting.
There's
because
a little cloudiness here, but
even
yeah.
reading on their website, doing a little research, which we'll have a link to at AboutBeverages.com, they mention haze. They say,
Oh, really?
They say very lightly filtered because they want to leave some of the haze in it, and a lot of it is toward that traditional French kind of style of allowing, like I said, the wheat beer that they've got.
Well, maybe I just needed to, shake it up a little bit and travel. Maybe it's sitting in my fridge. It's become, it's calmed down, because I've poured those out, and like even Kristen was one time when I poured one out, she's like, wow, that's clear, and it was. So
it says everyday beers from French-speaking Belgium, so they specifically lightly filtered. So there's still supposed to be some wheat kind of haze to it, which I think there is.
Yeah,
I think there's
definitely
a little bit of
that
cloudiness,
now.
but not as much as not wheat beer kind of cloudy.
no, it's just not see through. Ballpark.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah,
and a little
very,
grapey, a little Kolsch maybe.
very light,
Very
hint of
light.
that. Mostly for me, citrus, like little ballpark citrus, like someone
Yeah.
squirted a little bit of a lemon in there or something like that.
Yeah.
And when we say ballpark, that's what we're talking about. Is kind of the beer you could kind of smell at a ballpark.
Yeah, ballpark,
Not
yeah.
although that's gotten better as of late. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Ballpark used to only mean like Milwaukee's Best, Budweiser.
Yeah.
Bud Light. Whereas now you can get some more craft things, and some are even doing a little bit more. But
And it's it's not necessarily like a specific beer from a ballpark, but it's an aroma at the ballpark. And that sounds kind of gross in a way, I guess. But it's beer that's probably been spilled a little bit. It's a lot of people carrying beers around, and it's emanate. So
this
there's
is great.
ballpark.
I don't think we've ever defined it this much. That's
well,
fantastic.
That's what I mean.
No, it's exactly
because I'm
what
not
I'm
trying to
talking about.
describe a specific. Oh, it tastes like a Bud, a Miller, or a Coors, or
it's that aroma of there's some stale going on.
There's
some stale beer going on because it's been spilled. That was perfect.
Yeah,
that was
so
excellent.
that's what we're talking about. And what's like I said isn't necessarily derogatory. It's just that. Oh, it's that sort of
but
aroma.
then that gets me in the mood to some extent for like, okay, we got some burgers, some hot dogs,
Right.
some other thing. That's just kind of what I expect.
That's right.
Someday we'll expect better, but for right now, that's what we've got. That's pretty. I like the flavor better than the aroma. The flavor, I get a little bit more of that bright lemon citrus in the back.
Slight bitter at the back. Slight sour bitter.
Little bitter. That could be a touch of Belgian funkiness,
Maybe.
like a very, very slight, because it's either hops or it's a little hint of some sort of a little bit of funk, either from the yeast or something like that. Kind of got that going on, but that's fine.
Yeah,
like I said, that's kind of what I expected from the aroma.
Yeah,
I think when I saw Farmhouse, because you and I had kind of seen this at opposite times and had talked about it a little bit. I was hoping for a little bit more, because when I see that, I usually do think of other farmhouse saisons or things like that have, and maybe that's where like I said, it gets a little muddled for me. Is like I was expecting a little more of that heavy kind of.
And I didn't want a wild taste.
No.
And I didn't want it to go too far, but I would have been okay with that dialed up a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit more of some funk, because overall it's pretty clean and it's refreshing, low alcohol. I like all of those things. If it just had a little bit more flavor for me to grab onto, I would have been happier, a little happier with it. Not that I'm unhappy, but I would have been happier with the purchase. But
a touch more flavor would be nice, but I think for a lot of people, I think this would be definitely a good beer that if you're doing that kind of summer hanging out barbecue thing, I think this will fit.
Yeah.
Like I said, guys like us, we probably would want a little bit more flavor. If you're more of a craft beer drinker, you may want a little touch more.
Right.
There's not quite as much, but overall, I mean, I don't think you'd be disappointed. You wouldn't be upset with it. Like, oh, this is disgusting.
Right.
But
yeah, no, that's kind of how I felt about it. Just and I'm. Without even thinking about it, with the exception of the Stone Stout that we talked about before, my tastes are just they're they're going toward lighter, more refreshing, and to me IPAs are refreshing. So it can still be nice and hoppy, but the dark beers right now just aren't what I'm gravitating toward. Like I said, with that exception, and there could definitely be others where someone would say, "Hey, here, try this."
Something just
it's not like I'm saying no.
It's got to hit you.
It's just a natural thing. I mean, I bought this. I bought a 6-pack of the Odell's IPA. That's where I was gravitating toward. So.
And speaking of natural things,
to gravitate toward.
And that too. To gravitate toward is to gravitate toward the website at AboutBeverages.com and check out the tasting notes for this beer, as well as where it hits on our recommendation scale. And while you're there, definitely check out. We've got many more summer brews over the next few weeks that we'll be trying and tasting throughout the weeks. We can be found on Untapped. We can be found on Twitter. All of these different things. Facebook, we're still on there. Hanging out.
Look at last year's or the year before's summer brews or beers we were drinking. See what we were trying back then, and
that's actually
check that out.
It's a great point too, because I was just doing that the other day, looking at some of the other things we've tried, and it's all stuff you can still find, and we'll stand by whatever we said.
That's right.
2-3 years ago,
unless they've changed their recipe.
Unless the recipe,
and then we'll go back to the glass and try it again.
Yeah. Ooh, I like that. Back to the glass.
Back to the glass.
We may have to use that for something.
Back to the pour.
But whether we like it or not,
you should give it a shot.